Hi guys, so this is like the 8th time I've recorded this video, and this is the last time that I'm going to record this video, you guys. So if you hear anything in the background, just please excuse it. My husband's out there watching the game or whatever he's watching on TV, and it's loud, so excuse it. This is my HSG video, my HSG experience, and as a disclaimer, I am not telling you guys that your experience is going to go the way that my experience has gone. I'm not going to tell you guys that every doctor works the same or anything like that. My doctor is different from your doctor. They all do things differently. Every woman is different and experiences things different, and pain tolerance is different. So that's just a disclaimer. Another thing I would like to add is that this video is TMI. There will be talk about blood and vaginas and things like that in this video. So if you don't like to hear about those sorts of things, you might want to exit out the video now. Okay, so my HSG was scheduled for Friday the 20th at 12 o'clock noon. I was told to take ibuprofen or Advil or something like that an hour before the procedure, and I did. I took 3 ibuprofen, and then I took an anti-nausea pill because I did not want to throw up, because pain, if I'm in a lot of pain, makes me throw up. So that's just how I am. So I got there at exactly 12 o'clock noon, and I was told that the doctor was going to be late, and he was running late in the office because I was at the surgery center, which was down the road from the RE's office. So I was told that he was going to be late at the office and to expect him to be at least an hour late than what my appointment was scheduled. I had already had all my paperwork done before I even arrived to the surgery center, so I didn't have anything to do but sit and wait and anticipate the moment. I had read a lot of things on Google. I had watched YouTube videos about the procedure, and I was scared to death. Just to put it out there, I was absolutely terrified to get this done. I didn't know what to expect, and according to a lot of the women whose videos that I've watched and whose blogs that I've read, it wasn't a very pleasant experience for them, and I expect the same thing. Like I said before, I'm not trying to tell you guys to expect the same thing that I experienced. Everyone's different. Everyone's doctor is different. Now, so about maybe not even an hour later, about 45 minutes later, I was taken back to pre-op, and they took my blood pressure and did my heart rate and asked me questions, made sure that everything was confirmed, my name, made sure that I wasn't pregnant, things like that, like just to confirm it, even though I had the ultrasound the day before, and I know that the doctor knew and everybody knew, but they just have to do that as protocol to make sure. And then I was told that I could wait back in pre-op, or I can go back into the waiting room and wait until the doctor was ready for me to come into the radiology room. I waited in pre-op for maybe 5 more minutes. It didn't take long at all for me to wait. And then she was like, okay, well, just come on back. We're going to take you to the radiology room. The doctor's ready, and he's here a lot earlier than we actually thought that he was going to be here. So I was so scared. Like, my stomach was rumbling. I had nerves. I didn't know what to expect. Everybody that was around me who were there were getting real surgeries. Like, one lady was there to get, I guess, like a tubal reversal after my procedure was done. And they were there to get like legitimate surgeries and stuff with anesthesia and everything. So it was a little intimidating to see and to be in that environment, knowing that I was next in line to get something done that I didn't know what to expect from. So I got into the radiology room, and the lady who took me back in there and who was going to be in there when I got the procedure done was just, I couldn't have asked for a better person to be back there with me. She was just amazing. She was you know, she took a warm blanket. She was like, we're going to take a warm blanket back there for you so you can stay warm. It's a little bit cooler back there. So we want to make sure you're comfortable. And she was just, I mean, she made me feel very, as relaxed as I could have been at that moment. She made me feel really good, you know. So I got into the radiology room, which was another intimidating room. I mean, there was bright lights, and then there was this table right in the middle, this big x-ray machine on the side, and like just all this stuff in there that is intimidating in there, because it's not just like going into a regular OB office or something like that and getting a pap. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like I was going to be cut open, or that my cervix was going to be ripped out of my vagina, or something like that. Like I was just terrified. So she was like, okay, well, you can go behind this little screen thing and get undressed from the bottoms down. And she gave me a gown to put on over my shirt. And so I got undressed from the bottoms down. I took my shoes off, put some socks on so I was more comfortable. I laid down on this table. There was no stirrups or anything. There was just a table, and there was like pillows to prop my head up. And so I laid and I had my feet up, just kind of with my knees bent, with my feet on the table. And she put the warm blanket over me, and then put another blanket. Like if you go to the hospital, you know, those like white, we called them, where I work, we called them the shower blankets, because we use those in the showers with the residents that I work with and things like that. So it was like a shower blanket, if you know what I mean. It was a blanket, like a heavy white blanket that you get at the hospital. So she put that on me. One of them was warm, like in a warmer. And then she put another one over me that was the same one, but it wasn't warm, but it just felt kind of heavy. So I felt a little secure at that moment, you know. And then by the time I got the covers over me and everything, the doctor was coming in. Just so you guys know ahead of time, I may cry in this video. I may not. I don't know yet, but I feel a little teary. My doctor is absolutely amazing, you guys. I've never in my life experienced the feeling that I'll tell you about after the procedure, but I've never in my life had a doctor that I genuinely felt cared. You know, I didn't feel rushed. He came in and he was like, you know, are you okay? Are you ready? And I was like, I'm fine. You know, I'm ready. I'm a little scared. He was like, don't be afraid. It'll be okay. Everything's fine. I'll walk you through everything. I'll talk you through everything. You'll know that it's not as bad as you may think. So he was like, I'm going to go wash my hands and I will be back. And I was like, okay. So, you know, it was two women in there. There was one who was a little bit more quiet than the lady that was more outgoing and who was standing right by me. She was telling me how, oh, you've got, you know, your nail polish is pretty, you got pretty, you know, your bracelet's cute, and you got a beautiful ring. And she was just talking to me. It was just, you know, trying to keep my mind at ease. And I just felt like I was so grateful for her. I really was. And I don't know her name, but if she ever watched this video and she can remember me, I'm grateful that you were there. I am very happy that you were there if you're watching this video. So the doctor came back in and he started to prep everything. He told me a little bit about what I was to expect. And he was like, all right, we're going to get started. So I was there, had my legs open. And the first thing that he did was told me, okay, I'm going to put the speculum in, which hurt like hell. I hated that part. I don't like the speculum ever. So he put the speculum in and opened it up. He said, okay, I can see your cervix. And I'm going to take some betadine and I'm going to put that on your cervix to cleanse it, just so that to prevent infection. So I was like, okay, you know, at that time I was uncomfortable because the speculum was in and I was a little tense. He told me to relax, you know, relax, it's fine. He was very calm, you guys. My doctor, he was so confident, calm. All these in one. He was confident, he was calm, he was professional, he was reassuring, all this at one time. So it just kept me a lot more calm than what I would have normally been, I think. And then, sorry if this is just dragging on, but I'm just trying to give you guys as much details as possible. So he rubbed my cervix with the betadine to make sure that it prevented an infection, which was like a soap. And that was uncomfortable. It felt like scratchy on my cervix. It was a weird feeling. It felt scratchy a little bit, like as if he had like sandpaper and was rubbing it on my cervix. That's what it felt like. And then he said, okay, now I'm going to be putting on some numbing cream. I don't know if it was lidocaine or Novocaine or what it was, but I think it was lidocaine. And so he said, I'm going to numb the cervix. So he numbed my cervix. He said, you might feel some stinging. At that point, I was holding the lady's hand because I didn't know if it was going to sting or not. It did not sting. But just shortly after that, he said, okay, I'm going to touch you on your cervix and you tell me if you can feel any pinching or anything like that so I know if you're numb. He touched. He said, can you feel that? I said, no. He said, okay, you're numb. I'm going to take the speculum out. No, I'm going to insert the catheter. So he inserted the catheter. He said, I'm going to take the speculum out. Took the speculum out. And then he said, okay, once he took the speculum out, I started to feel my ears like as if somebody was putting their fingers in my ear. Like my ears were clogged up and it sounded muffled. Like if you put your fingers in your ears, someone was talking to you, you know what that sound like. I started to feel that like as if their voices were muffled now. And then I started to feel like a little bit dizzy. And then I was like, am I supposed to feel like my ears and like I'm dizzy? And he was like, instantly, he got into action and he was like, okay, scoot up on the bed. So I scooted up on the bed and then like the nurses were like, they ran around to go and turn the machines on to check my vitals and things like that. And he was asking me what I was feeling like. And he was like, how do you feel now? Yeah, he was like, how do you feel now? Are you okay? Stay with me. Open your eyes. Don't close your eyes because, you know, I did feel a little sleepy and I wanted to close my eyes. I don't know if I had a reaction to the lidocaine. He said that I could have had a small reaction to the lidocaine, but he wasn't going to call it. Or I just could have been panicked or something and had a panic attack or was nervous or I don't know. But I felt like it could have been a reaction from the lidocaine because it didn't happen until I felt. So he took the speculum out and the catheter was in and things like that. I felt kind of started to feel weird. And once I was fine, it took maybe just maybe a minute for me to start to feel a lot better. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. He was like, okay, well, everything's in now and we're just going to bring the machine over and put the dye in. And this is the part that I was nervous about more because none of that hurt. The only thing that did hurt was the speculum at that moment, at that time, which he took that out. But the only pain that I had felt up until this time was the speculum. So, I was nervous about the dye going in because a lot of women had said that when the dye went in, they felt some burning, and that's when things kind of turned for the worse and all that. So, I was nervous about this part. So again, I was holding the lady's hand. I was like, okay, the dye is about to go in. So he was like, okay, inserting the dye slowly. So he inserted a little bit of dye. He said, okay, take a picture. Took a picture. He inserted more dye. He said, take a picture. Took a picture. He inserted, he said, okay, I'm going to insert more. And then I was looking at the screen and I could see, you know, how far along the pictures had gone, how much more dye had went in. I had felt nothing at all. No dye going in, nothing. He said, do you feel any cramping? I said, no, I don't feel no cramping at all. I didn't feel the cramping until towards the end when the dye, I guess, was going through my tubes and stuff. And he said, both tubes are open and I am going to release the thing, you know, release the catheter or something. Because the way he does it, he does not put a balloon in the vagina. And I heard a lot of people, a lot of women who got the procedure done had a balloon put into their vagina. He doesn't do that. He puts like a stopper or something up there. I don't know exactly how that works. I would have to look into it. But he does not do it that way. And when I tell you I experienced absolutely no pain from the procedure itself, the only pain was from the speculum getting inserted and opened up. That's the only pain that I felt. I did feel a little uncomfortable when he wiped my cervix with the betadine because the sponge or whatever felt a little scratchy. That was it. It was the only pain that I felt. Nothing else after that. When he inserted the dye, I felt absolutely no pain. And I am so grateful for this experience, you guys. Like, I feel like I might cry. I'm so grateful for the experience that I have gone through. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I couldn't have asked for a better doctor. I couldn't have asked for better results. You know, I have a picture. Change the subject a little bit because I'm about to start crying. I have a picture of my x-ray. He let me have a picture. I asked for one and he let me have one. You can't really see my tubes much on this one. I'm just going to show you guys you can't really see my tubes much. I mean, here you can see, excuse my nails, you guys. My nail polish is chippy, but you can see here my tubes. But you can see here the dye spilling out both ends. So my tubes are open, you guys. And that is my uterus right there. That's the dye in my uterus. That's the catheter. And then, you know, like I said, that's my insides. So, you guys, my tubes are open. So after that, he told a joke. I mean, he was just awesome. My doctor is awesome. He told a joke about when he was an intern and what happened, and it was just really funny, and we laughed after that. I sat up on the table slowly. The nurse sat me up. She was like, "Okay, just no rush, just sit here." He told me at the end of the procedure that I may experience some bleeding, like a period, so I might want to wear a pad. And luckily I brought pads, but I asked him if the dye or whatever would stain because I wear cloth pads and things like that. And he said no, that it wouldn't stain. And so I got up from the table. After he left out, he told me bye, and he said that. So it was a Friday, so I decided that tomorrow, which is Monday, I'll call him and figure out my next step. After that, that was all I seen of him. The nurse told me, she said, "Okay, you can go and you can get dressed." And luckily I brought pads, and I put a pad on, I put a regular flow pad on. I put a regular moderate flow pad on, and I put a black one on just in case it's stained, you know. And luckily I did, because I walked in there with the liner on thinking, okay, maybe it's just going to seep out every so often and it's going to be just regular, you know, like a liquid seeping out every now and then from the dye, and that's it. I thought maybe I would spot and that was it, but I stood up and I didn't feel anything. I got dressed, put my pad on, and the moment I walked around to go to the door, I felt this huge gush. And I was like, holy moly, like, I feel really gushy. And she was like, well, you want to go into the bathroom? It's probably the dye coming out and things coming out. I was like, yeah, I want to go just to check to make sure my pants aren't wet and stuff. Which I felt like they were, but they weren't, because the pad that I had on had soaked everything up. And when I went into the bathroom, it was completely drenched, my pad, in blood. And that's where the heat comes in at. It was just like bright red blood in my pad. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect. I thought maybe I would spot and then the rest of the stuff would be the dye's color or whatever. No, it was absolutely red blood. Just, I mean, luckily I wore a pad, because if I would have walked out of there with that liner on, I would have had blood all over my clothes and everything. So I was very lucky and fortunate for that. And I brought more than one pad, so I changed into a heavier flow pad. And I went into post-op and had to wait for maybe 15 minutes or so, but I couldn't wait to get out, guys, because I wanted to cry so bad. I wanted to cry so bad. The nurse came and she talked to me, and she was like, you can leave when you want, but there's no rush. And I was like, I want to go. I'm fine. I feel okay. I just want to go home. So I drove myself there, and so I wanted to go ahead and get home while I could. So she walked me to my car, and she was talking to me, and she gave me a hug on the way out. And I mean, she was just wonderful to have. I mean, I couldn't have done it without her. I think I would have been a lot more panicked or whatever if she wasn't there. So anyways, after the procedure was over with and I was in my car and I was on my way home, I felt okay. I still bled a little bit. By the time I got home, I went and used the bathroom, and then I passed a clot, which I didn't expect. I did. I passed a clot and I was bleeding. And so then that was it. I spotted after that, though. I was bleeding for maybe the remainder of that day. And then by that night, when I was about ready to go to sleep, I was just spotting. Just the regular light pink spotting with touches of brown in there. TMI. But you guys, this I'm telling you because, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who are about to get the procedure done and they really want to know. So I'm in a lot of details, and I know that I'm kind of just blabbing on and stuff like that. But my experience, you guys, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I could not have asked for a better doctor, for a better experience. And if you guys are wondering, you can send me a message, and you can instant message me or whatever through the message box. Not just the comment box, but the actual message box if you want to know the area I'm in, and if you want to know the doctor that I am seeing, and just if you want to know, because honestly, I had absolutely no pain from the HSG, only the speculum, and that was it. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better. I cannot say that enough. My doctor is absolutely amazing. And when I left that office, I felt this feeling that I can't quite put my finger on. It's a feeling of almost like intimate. It's weird. Not like intimate, like it felt good or something like that. Like not like that kind of feeling, but it was almost an intimate feeling as far as how I felt about my doctor. Not like a sexual thing at all, but just like I had been farther. I've got to a farther point in this trying to conceive journey with this doctor than I've ever been in these whole 3 years. And seeing all these doctors that I have seen, I've gone farther with him, and it felt like a more intimate thing with him, I guess. Like, not intimate like that. I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, it was a procedure that I got done. It was almost like a surgical procedure that I got done. And like a diagnostic procedure is what they call it. But it was like, I felt a sense of relief. Like, okay, I feel like I can breathe now. Through this whole time, all these years that I've been trying, I've always felt like I was holding my breath, just waiting for that next moment, like what to expect. My tubes are open. I am relieved. I feel a sense of relief. I feel a sense of pressure that has been lifted off of my shoulders. I feel just amazing. Like, I don't know, I have never felt this way about a doctor in my life, and every time I think about it, I want to cry, because you guys, I absolutely cannot explain. I cannot even begin to explain the feeling that I have right now. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I know this video is long, you guys, but I'm inviting you guys into my life, you know. I'm you know, spilling my heart out. I'm showing you guys my journey. This is very personal, you know. And for me to be able to experience this feeling and to share it with somebody, and to hope that somebody will feel this feeling that I'm feeling. I have no idea how to explain it, but I feel like butterflies when I think about it, because I feel like it was just a heavenly experience. And I don't know how I'm saying that about an HSG. You know, it was an experience that, and I'm not exaggerating this by any means at all. Like, this is my legitimate feelings, my genuine experience, my genuine thought, you know, on this experience. And I'm being 100% honest with you guys about this. Okay, so I'm not exaggerating this by any means. If it hurt, it hurt, you know, and I would say that it hurt, but it didn't. And I have a feeling, okay, I'm going to put it this way. I have a feeling that this doctor is going to be the last doctor that I see before I get pregnant, to put it that way. That's exactly what I feel. I feel like he is going to succeed in getting us this baby that we really so badly want. That's how I feel. I haven't felt that way about any doctor since this TTC journey has begun. I have not felt that way about anybody, any doctor at all, that they would help me succeed in getting pregnant. I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to be the last doctor that I see before we actually conceive and have a child. So that is my experience, you guys. I had a minor cramping yesterday. That was the most cramping that I've had since the whole thing had got done. And today I feel back to normal. I feel absolutely fine. And tomorrow I will call him and maybe make another video to let you guys know what else had happened. And I'm going to let you guys go because this video has dragged on a lot longer than I expected. And that is it. Bye.